Hi guys, welcome back to my studio. If you're new here, I'm a professional oil painter and I'm excited to be sharing a new portrait with you all this week. My focus on this painting was not only capturing a likeness, but really thinking about the color harmony. A lot of this painting, from her face to the background, is this really beautiful pastel, and I was really excited to capture that variation. You can see this focus is rather apparent though, because my early stages have some serious drawing problems. That is to say, I'm clearly focusing almost exclusively on putting down accurate swatches of color, but not on achieving the right shapes or proportions. Nonetheless, after an initial pass, I try my best to address this pretty quickly. I think that's one thing that's really interesting about YouTube and artists on YouTube. It's that the paintings that tend to attract a lot of viewers actually really start with the drawing first. That is, they often literally start with a fully accurate pencil drawing to paint over, or maybe use a grisaille. But here I'm taking the total opposite approach. I'm adding color first and refining the drawing as I go. Now, I don't think that's better. I think that's just where I need to be as a painter right now. But where I would like to go and where I'm starting to focus on in my paintings is how to do both tasks at once, to think about the drawing and the color simultaneously, so I spend a little bit more time looking and designing, but a lot less time correcting. To be clear though, corrections are part of any painting. Just because I'm a professional does not mean that I make fewer mistakes than an amateur. I think many people think that the difference between a pro and an amateur is that the pro just doesn't make mistakes, but I have never ever seen that to be true. Now, what I have seen is that professionals make mistakes and wipe whole canvases down or scrape paint off or start over constantly. But the difference I've noticed is that I don't see professionals in denial about this process. They know mistakes are coming and they are constantly scouring their paintings for them, rather than hoping that maybe they'll just go away. So the next issue that tripped me up was the design of her jacket. I didn't want this to be super literal, which meant that I needed to treat it purely as a piece of design and really make the shapes and the style of my brushstrokes count. You can see that this involves a lot of thinking and second guessing though, because I actually put down a lot of paint that I ultimately decided was not worth it. A final obstacle I encountered with this piece was my background. I really struggled with this from the beginning. And that's because my reference had some beautiful colors in it and they actually just totally tripped me up. Rather than letting that background inspire me, I kind of felt beholden to it. So to fix this, I decided to pick the color I wanted to focus on and just design a background shape that would help the composition overall. So for this, I stopped painting and I got some inspiration. I took a look at painters like Wang Ji Li, whose name I really hope I'm saying halfway correctly. He has a real mastery of using abstract background elements to support a portrait. So after looking through a ton of his paintings, I got a pretty good sense of where I wanted to go. I felt like this painting had a real lift to it, like there's almost like this gust of wind that's blowing from the lower right-hand corner up through the upper left-hand corner. So I wanted to construct a new background that would help that. And that is it. I hope you enjoyed watching this time lapse and learned something cool. If you have any questions you'd like for me to answer in my next tutorial, be sure to comment down below. And as always, I have a lot of awesome content coming up, from a studio tour to an in-depth look at how I start my paintings. So be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss a thing.